Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be scenario or episode number 7 in What Would Ghosts Do? All right, this scenario comes to us from someone that wishes to remain nameless. We'll just call her Mrs. S. Okay, my scenario may not apply to most of your viewers, but maybe since it is unusual, unique tips will come of it. Okay. She lives actually on an island in the Pacific Northwest. Her husband is employed in an industry that requires him to be close to the ocean, and he's gone for several months out of the year. She has 20-year-old twins and a 3-year-old. She's petrified about natural disasters, have no idea what to do if there was an earthquake or major event. Nowhere to bug out to unless we leave the island. And there's only 3 ways off the island: 2 ferry boats and a bridge. Perhaps tips on how to bug in would be helpful for people in Hawaii as well as the many other islands that are out there. Actually, she had an addendum to this. She started a garden, because if they can't leave, supply trucks can't get there either. And she started pressure canning fruit from her trees, and she's purchased 2 very good 2-way radios. Things like water floaties if the big one hits West Coast, we are screwed, and probably swimming, as well as car safety tools. Mrs. S, your scenario is very, very unique in the simple fact that not only are you having to prep for, a breakdown in society, possible collapse of the economy, and all this other stuff that's going on in the media right now, but you also have to prep for, earthquakes, tidal waves, volcanoes, on top of all this stuff. I mean, your situation is unique. Like, we could literally talk about your different ideas that you could encounter for a couple of hours. So let's just hit them real quick. As far as the worldwide horseshit that's going on right now with the economy and everything, and hyperinflation and stuff like that, if you just don't focus on any natural disasters, it sounds like you're off in the right direction. You're canning food for long term. You've got things that you're going to need. The good thing in a societal collapse like that, if the grid just goes to crap and people are turning into marauders, I mean, you're on an island, so you've already got an awesome first line of defense. So you can really, that's actually that's a positive. The negative you stated on here is that when supplies stop running, they can't get to you. Well, that's where having your own food stores and water, put up for several months, if not a couple of years, really comes in handy. But it sounds like you're really off on the right track there. Just to touch on the natural disaster part, I mean, you're up there in volcano country, earthquake country, possible tidal wave country, and you're on an island in the Pacific Northwest, which means, you got possible tsunamis coming through there, following the earthquake if it hits, offshore. Depending on your elevation on the island and obviously the height of the tsunami, I really don't have, and I don't think anybody does. That's the problem. I mean, if you're in the path of a tsunami, I mean, you're just in the path of a tsunami. It's going to depend on how high up off the ground you are and what kind of structure you're in. I mean, I remember seeing the news footage of the tsunamis in Japan at Fukushima when it destroyed that nuclear power plant. I mean, the first few rows of buildings were completely destroyed. Once it came inland a little bit, you had several, high-rise buildings that people were up on the roof watching and videotaping that were, 10, 15 stories or so up. They were fine. Obviously, they were, on an island themselves right then, because the floodwaters stayed for a while before they receded. But, the tsunami survival is going to depend, in my opinion, solely based on the point of impact of the tsunami and the height of the wave. Now, being on an inlet, when the water comes into it, if the wave's coming this way and it's hitting flat land, it's one height. But if there's a a canal or inlet and the water's coming this way, the water that's hitting here, it could actually be focused, and it could actually increase in wave height when it's funneled into a channel or a canal or something like that. So the height of the wave is going to depend on how you're going to be able to react to that. Earthquakes, I'm sure you guys have a lot of practice with the earthquakes. They're very discombobulating. But the good thing is a lot of the structures out there in earthquake country, they're made to resist a little bit. Yeah, volcanoes, that's something that's just going to depend on which way the wind's blowing, how big the blast is, and if you're in the way of the molten rock and the pyroclastic clouds. The ash is what really gets a lot of people, because several feet of ash fall and they collapse houses and roofs and things like that. So, obviously you don't want to breathe that stuff. But, as far as the natural disasters go, that's something that just you can pick one and prep for that one and never get that one and get the other two. But your situation is really unique because you're prepping for 4 different types of natural disasters on top of prepping for the economy and the world that we live in today. To be honest with you, I think the economy is going to go to shit and people are going to turn into zombies. The way things are going right now, the world's going to hell long before you're going to get hit with any of these natural disasters. At least I don't hope you get hit with any of it. But I would focus on what you're focusing on now, and just your family's survival, and prepping food and water and getting ready for the society to just lose its mind. The other things, the tsunamis and the earthquake, you really can't really do anything about that. You can prep for it if you survive it. You know what I mean? You can prep to deal with the aftermath. The only way you can really prep for those things, and I hate to say it, I mean, I know that's where your husband works, but in my opinion, what would Ghost do? Ghost would be moving, okay? Ghost would be moving, somewhere close to the water, if that's what if he wants to continue that kind of employment. I mean, there's plenty of other coastlines around the country that aren't sitting on a massive fault and that aren't surrounded by volcanoes. But yeah, what would Ghost do? Ghost would move. I'm going to be honest with you. I can prep for the society falling apart, but as far as those natural disasters on top of it, that's just too much. I would definitely move, but that's just me. Thank you for your email. I appreciate it. It was very, very unique. I hope I helped a little bit, and I hope you people that are watching this video, please take time to send me an email, wwwgdquestions@gmail.com, and send me an email of a scenario that you think you may go through, something you're worried about, or something that just off the top of your head that you want to know what people should do, or what you want to know what I would do if it compares to what you think you would do in that situation. But thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.